You're listening to That Home Loan Hub. I'm Zibuni Solimova, here to make home loans and property investing simple, smart and stress-free. Let's get you closer to your property dreams. Well, hello. Today I welcome Rachael from Homely. Rachael, thank you for coming to my podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Rachael, would you like to tell our listeners a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure, thank you. My name's Rachael Stipkovits and I'm an independent property manager for Homely Property Management. I live on the coast, on the sunny Kapiti coast in Waikanae Beach, and I provide residential property management services from live-in to Paikakariki and beyond.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. How long have you been with Homely?
I've been with Homely now for, it must be around 18 months. Yeah, but we officially launched Homely on the coast about a year ago.
That's fantastic. So Homely, where's the company started from?
So Homely was founded nearly 3 years ago by Vili Tossi in Palmerston North. And he just really wanted a change in the industry, just to kind of shake things up and just change the way that property management was done from the traditional way. So we're now a team of 6. So,
Wow.
Amanda Weirpaw came on as a co-owner a few months later. And now we have 4 independent property managers.
That's amazing. So in 3 years, they've grown so massively.
That's right.
And what made you think about joining the property? Have you had experience in property management before?
So I, for the last 20 odd years, have been a general insurance broker, or as a financial advisor now. Yeah. So I was level 5 qualified, and I did that all over the world. And I really just wanted a change in what I was doing. And property management was such a great fit because I'm still that intermediary between two parties.
Yeah.
And so sort of fostering a great relationship, making sure that you comply with laws and all of this very, very similar things to what I was doing as an advisor. So I loved just the fact that I could get out there and meet so many new people and really help people as well.
Wow, that's amazing. That sounds really inspiring because, that is a bit of a change, isn't it? Because, obviously I do insurances as well, so I know what's involved in helping people to obtain house insurance or landlord cover and all the beautiful things that come from owning an investment property. And to go from that to actually managing those properties, that's kind of exciting. So in your mind, where is the industry heading? What are you seeing with all the changes in terms of healthy homes, etc.?
Yeah. So that's one of the big things that's coming up next year. So that deadline for private landlords to be healthy homes compliant is by the 1st of July. So from that point on next year, your home has to be healthy homes compliant. You don't have a grace period of 120 days like you do now from when a tenant moves into the property to get things up to scratch. It has to be 100% before a tenant moves in. So that's a really big thing that we're facing at the moment, is just making sure that we're on track to having all properties compliant by that point. And that's something also that private landlords need to be really aware of, that they do their reports, that they're making sure that their homes are fully compliant. And you can use a third-party provider for that to produce that report for you. And they're, so well experienced in doing that, they can go around your home really quickly and determine all of those the data that you need. And then advise you on what's compliant and what's not. Yeah, and then you can just go away and do those. There's always changes to the Residential Tenancies Act as well, and hopefully next year we'll see some changes come to pass, changes in notice periods, changes in terminations for tenancies, where there could be a termination for any reason with 90 days notice given, and the introduction of pet bonds, which is really exciting.
Wow, pet bonds.
Yeah.
Tell me more. I've never heard of that. So
at the moment, all you can charge for a bond is a maximum of 4 weeks of rent.
That's right.
You can't charge any more than that. And with the introduction of pet bonds, you can charge an additional 2 weeks of rent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And is it per pet?
Per pet.
Really? Really? So,
I believe so.
So let's say if I've got a cat and a dog, and I'm getting a rental, I have to pay 4 weeks bond for me, plus 2 weeks for the cat and 2 weeks for the dog.
I would have to double check that. But
Wow.
Yeah, well, you don't. It's an optional thing
Yes,
as well.
I know,
yeah,
but
so
I just
that
thought it's
landlord can decide to charge. Yeah, I just have to double check whether it's per pet or whether it's
just general,
just general pet bond. Yeah, it seems a bit, Yeah,
it would be over the top. I mean, imagine if people have 5 cats.
Yeah, I know, but
That would escalate really fast.
It would really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Because I mean, most of the New Zealanders, they have at least a pet, right? I mean, a dog or a cat. Most of the people I know.
Yeah, that's right. And often tenants look after their homes really, really well when they've got a pet, because they know that, they want to make sure that the pets found a home as well.
That's right, because I know it's really hard for them to find.
It really is,
rentals. I'll tell you a funny story. So when I was renting out my house here in Waikanae, and we had 11 parties come through. It was through a property manager at the time, and he rang me and said, look, we had 11 parties come through to look at your house, and there's 4 parties really interested. 3 of them are families with young children, and 1 is a couple, and they've got 2 big dogs. One is a husky, 1 is a German shepherd. And if you're listening to this, you know who you are. And I chose the tenants with the dog, with 2 dogs, because being a mom to 4 children, I know that sometimes, to be honest, kids do way more damage to the property than the dogs.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Yeah. Maybe there should be a kid bond. No.
Honestly, let's not give the government some ideas.
But you're right. Yeah.
Have you noticed something similar through your career so far? Okay, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
What's the most damage you have seen and how?
The most damage I have seen. I've been really lucky because I have, comparatively short time in the industry. I have really wonderful tenants.
Oh, that's good.
So, there has been no damage that I've seen so far. I have seen some incidents with other properties that we have in our general portfolio within Homely, where there has been damage to carpets throughout the entire property from an animal. Excessive damage to walls and things like that. So there has been, compensation from the bond having to be taken from that. Yeah. So that was a hard situation as well. Just a hard situation with what had happened in the tenancy. Yeah.
It is, because usually those sort of things happen towards the end of the tenancy as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Often when furniture's pulled away from walls and things like that, you can see some damage. But, honestly, you're keeping up with your inspections, those 3 monthly inspections. If needed, you can make them as short a time as every 4 weeks. That's sort of like the shortest time you can make it. But just making sure that you look out for all of those things.
Yeah. And I guess this is where your role comes in as a property manager versus private landlords, because not many private landlords, I think, are very, what's the word for it? Consistent in terms of going every 3 months and checking up on the status of the properties. So can you tell me a little bit about how you guys do your thing?
Yeah, sure. So we have an app called Inspection Express, and that takes photos, and we write our reports from that. So they've just brought out some awesome technology with 360 cameras and AI technology as well. So
of course.
It can pick up, where there's damage on a wall. But, we obviously go through and check all of that because it's still quite new.
Yeah.
But that's really, really exciting. So we use that app. The initial inspection, which is before the tenant moves into the property, that can take a couple of hours to do because we are taking photos of absolutely everything, inside cupboards, inside the hot water cupboard, and checking for, leaks and all of that kind of thing. We're documenting absolutely everything. So it's quite a long document to start with, including photos as well. So there may be technology out there as well that private landlords can use, but we have that.
The right tools
at our hands.
Yeah.
We use that same app for our 3 monthly inspections as well. We'll do an initial inspection after a month just to check that the tenants moved in, if there are any issues with the oven or whatever it may be, but we obviously want maintenance to be told as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And then, just continue on that 3 monthly schedule.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So do you help your landlords as well with the maintenance schedule? And
we do.
Things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Part of the appraisal process is going through the property and seeing if there's any maintenance that may be required or just things to look out for as well.
Yeah.
If there is, we can write up a plan for maintenance just to kind of ease the burden of that cost over a time. And then just with the ongoing maintenance, we have trusted trades that we work with. And if a tenant tells us there's some maintenance required, we'll have a look into it, find out what it is, and then send someone around as soon as we can. We want to get on top of that kind of thing as soon as possible.
Yeah. And I mean, as a landlord myself, I know how expensive things can get if you do leave them let slip. So you do need to stay on top of those things. And I think having a property manager looking after that, and because we're all busy, right? We all have full-time jobs, and my full-time job is helping people get on the ladder.
Yeah.
And your full-time job is to help, I guess, investors to stay on top of their investments.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And I think that you've got a great point that, you have full-time jobs. You really want to be looking after that side of things as well with your property investment. There's so much to take into consideration. There are so many laws. I often see ads go out with, someone must be employed. And that right there is a breach of the Human Rights Act. You can't sort of put that thing on ads. So there's all of those little things that you have to really watch out for right from the get-go as a landlord. And so we're across all of those laws, as well as the Residential Tenancies Act, just to make sure that everything's compliant and we're dealing with those people in the right way.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, as you were talking about damages and stuff like that and doing the reports on time, and I guess also being in your past industry in general insurances, you would know with insurance providers. Tell me a little bit more. I don't want to step over here, but do you find that having that background in insurances has also influenced the way you work today?
100%. Yeah, I've just had a recent incident where there was some water coming down a chimney breast into the garage of the property. So it wasn't a huge deal, thankfully. But I knew then that I could go back to their insurance policy, which we have a copy of, and have a look at the gradual damage extension on that policy and find out whether there would be any cover for that under there. And I know that there wouldn't have been anyway. I just wanted to double check just to make sure either for the resultant damage to the property or what had happened. The roofing company confirmed to me that it was a gradual issue, the damage that had happened on the roof causing the chimney breast to leak. So I knew straight away that I could advise my client that unfortunately there wouldn't be any claim to be had underneath the insurance cover.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like you've got to catch things at certain point as well. And I know, for instance, with landlord cover, there are certain things you can get covered for and certain things you can't. So it's really advisable, I think, for people to also pay attention to what sort of covers.
Absolutely. I think a key thing is also your loss of rent cover, just making sure that your cover has that extension to it, because that's really key.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to get to know you on a bit of a personal level as well.
Sure.
So do you have a family here, children,
Yes,
pets?
I do. Yes, I do.
Tell me more.
So I'm married to Andrew, and we've been married for nearly 6 years, but we've been together for about 11.
Wow.
I think it is. Yeah. And we have a 9-year-old daughter, and she goes to school locally here. We also have a Labrador called Ziggy, and he's nearly 5. So he gets us out and down to the beach, and So our family his family lives in Wellington, and mine are up in Palmerston North. So we're sort of halfway between them, but we've got lots of friends and things here. So we love it. We love it here.
What do you do in your spare time? What are your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing?
I love doing workouts and things. So I get up in the morning, and that's one of the first things that I do is I'll do workout with weights or stretching or yoga or something like that. Take the dog for a walk, get him out, get his energy burnt off for the day. We love going for walks as a family as well. And then obviously just between like our sort of large extended family, there's always something on the weekends to do. And then just obviously fitting in time to see friends as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like you lead a very busy life, but very well balanced life. Do you have any tips for people out there that are sort of self-employed? Because in a way, you would be self-employed,
Absolutely.
I guess. And I deal with a lot of people, especially mums, busy mums out there that are self-employed. And I'm finding that for a lot of them, it's really hard to find that balance without hitting that burnout wall and crashing. So what would be your tips if you could share your wisdom that you found in the last 18 months or prior?
I think that's one of the wonderful things about Homely. And that is, as an independent contractor, and building my own portfolio, I can just integrate my work and my life. And, I can find that balance as I need to. And Homely are huge on making sure that we do that for ourselves, on finding those moments in the day where maybe we just take ourselves to the gym or take ourselves for a walk and it's part of, our regular team training is a well-being and looking after ourselves. It's really wonderful. And I think, in my past life, especially corporate jobs, I just worked every hour that I possibly could. And I really didn't look after myself at all. I was working some big hours. Yeah. So to be with a company that really fosters that in you is so refreshing. And they're all about it, and it gives me some energy to put into my clients and to put into my tenants and to make sure that they're really well looked after, because I'm not having a huge portfolio of properties to look after as well. I have a cap on that, and that's purely for that work-life integration and balance. Yeah.
So it sounds like a bit of a boutique type of property management company where you can, as you say, it's like going to daycare and there's 5 kids to 1 teacher. So
that's right. Yeah.
Sounds a very similar parallel where you can, have enough properties to look after, but you're not going too hungry and crashing and burning and not being able to provide that support for your landlords and for the clients and for the tenants.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
So who is your ideal client? Who is your ideal landlord?
Yeah. Well, I love the people who love to look after their property. They want to keep it well maintained. They want to have it compliant, and that provides them with a great home for excellent tenants. Because you're providing a great space for them to live in their home, and they're more likely to stay longer because they're being looked after as well, and their home is being looked after. So, most of my clients are maybe mum and dad or, investors and things. So really that kind of space as well. I'm, keen to sort of work with investors as well and try and find opportunities where we can. And just those people who love looking after their homes.
Yeah, really. Makes sense, right?
It does, yeah.
Because it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Like if they want you to look after their property, you want them to also give back a little bit as well. I mean, it's not going to work if you've got a property that's being run down or not up to the healthy home standards. You can't get the quality tenants.
That's right.
They're probably seeking.
Yeah. That's right. Absolutely.
So it goes both ways.
Yeah.
A lot of the time when I deal with investors or when I'm dealing with investors to be, so to speak, should I say, they're always curious about the fees, right? And that's the first question they always ask, what am I going to get charged for? Can you just elaborate a little bit around that?
Yeah, sure. So kind of average fees for property management across New Zealand are sort of really between that 7 to 10%, but it can go a lot higher than that as well. It really depends on who you're dealing with. We offer an all-inclusive fee, management fee, and that's our only charge like across each payout that you'll get. Yeah. We do have like a tenant placement fee at the start. We put a lockbox into a property, so there might be like a small amount there that you have to pay, but that's it. We don't, what you really have to look out for within your contracts is if you're going to be charged anything extra for maintenance. So some companies may organise an electrician to come around, say, and they'll charge an extra 5 or 10% as like an admin charge on top of that, just for sort of the processing. So we don't have any of that. Also for your inspections as well. So some companies may charge per inspection.
Yeah, I've come across that as well.
Yeah, that's right. People may charge for professional photos to be taken of your property, a video. There's a whole lot of things. You just have to really look out for what extras, like that base fee may be a lot less than what, say, we may charge. But when you add on all of those things that you're going to want to pay for, you just have to really have a look at those costs as a whole.
As a whole, that's right. And often what I say to my clients is that don't be fees driven, as you say. You're an investment property game. You want to play a long game. You don't want to go with someone that's probably not going to charge you as much, but may not provide you with the same quality of service or place the right tenants and look after your property. So being an investment, and I mean, a lot of people are borrowing money to buy an investment property, and it's a lot of money. Could be, 500K, could be $1 million, etc. So you want to make sure your investment is being well looked after. And by saving $50 here, you may actually lose quite a little bit more there. Is that what you're finding as well in your experience?
Yeah, I think so. And honestly, someone may charge a lot less, but how many more properties are they going to have to look after to create more income for themselves? And then that, where the loss of service comes into it, you're not looking after the property as well. Maybe you're missing inspections and things like that. So you just have to look at, what they're doing outside of that. Yeah, just to save a few dollars. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So that's what it comes down to, I think, with anything in life, is that if you want to save money here, what are you sacrificing in return?
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, some sacrifices are good, don't get me wrong. When it comes to a cup of coffee, you can sacrifice not have a cup of coffee here and there. But I think when it comes to very important things like looking after your investment portfolio, because for a lot of people, it's also their nest egg, they want to retire and they want to have something. And if you don't look after your property well, you're not going to have much when you do retire.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Rachael. As we wrap up, is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners? Any words of wisdom?
Yeah, I guess just making sure that you are using a property manager for starters.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Come on, one 60-second promo.
And when you're looking at the type of property manager that you use, look into whether they're qualified or not. We're an unregulated industry. Unfortunately.
Hold on. What did you just say?
Yeah, unregulated.
Unregulated industry.
That's right. Yeah. So the government threw out the bill that was being put forward to regulate property management industry. That was earlier this year. So that was quite disappointing because, we want to sort of hold to certain standards.
Yeah. So hold on a second. Let me wrap my head around it. You just threw an absolute bombshell at me. So anyone can become a property manager.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Any cowboy out there that decides to go from doing nothing to become property manager.
Yep, that's 100% right.
Do they need to study for it? Do they need to get certificates?
No,
nothing.
No,
so they
nothing.
can just rock up, open a company and become a property manager.
That's right.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and so with Homely, which is also a wonderful thing, is that we're all required to be qualified. So that was one of the things I did straight away, was start my certificate for in property management. So I'm qualified. We're also Real Estate Institute accredited. So that upholds us to certain standards. There's a complaints procedure. We're also required to have a trust account for our clients' money.
Wow.
So it goes into that trust account. It's not all caught up with all of our other business expenses, which some companies may do.
Yeah.
And then that creates that's a real red flag there. It's that's one thing to watch out for.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, that just absolutely opened my eyes to what's going on out there. And again, that could be that warning message to all the landlords that if they have a new company pop up offering $50 management fee per week to watch out, because, it could be just anybody wanting to become a property manager and go from there.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah. You just have to, and someone could have experience or whatever, but it just, I think having those key things in place, it really sort of sets the standard a bit higher. So though all of those types of things were part of that bill.
Yeah, I love that about your company, to be honest. I think that's what resonates with me, because obviously being a financial advisor in a very heavily regulated environment where we can't do many things, we're very regulated and watched out for. I find it's incredibly difficult when you come across other businesses that are sort of in the same industry that should be also regulated, and they're not. Because, as I mentioned before, it just opens up that door for all the cowboys coming through and not doing the right thing.
That's right. And we're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of assets.
Yeah.
Not to mention the weekly rents that are coming in. I mean, there's just so much money being turned over. So just to, make sure that you've got policies in place and other regulatory bodies that can oversee that and audit accounts and things like that is really, really key.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. Rachel, what's your goal for next year?
Just to keep growing. Yeah, well, I've had such a wonderful time. I keep growing, and every month just gets better and better. And I really am truly passionate about this. It's just coming from, insurance broking, which I did love, and then maybe didn't so much.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so refreshing, and it gives me. I've got so much energy for it, So just to keep doing what I'm doing and growing and learning and developing and, just talking to great property investors and property owners and,
Well, I wish you all the best, Rachel. Thank you so much for coming and talking with me today and sharing some wisdom. And I look forward to be more in touch with you in the coming months, and would love to have you again, at some point later on, and then we can have a look at what else has changed. So thank you so much.
Once those Residential Tenancies Act changes come into play, we can go over them in detail and things.
No, that sounds fantastic. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
And that's a wrap on That Home Loan Hub. Don't forget to hit subscribe and join me next time for more property tips and tricks. Your next smart move starts here.